Hey, welcome to a new video. Live television has entertained people from around the world for decades. The very first live television broadcast was conducted by John Logie Bard on September 4th, 1928. However, live TV isn't just a source of information and entertainment. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. Laura, a reporter from Northampton, found herself in an unfortunate incident while reporting from a greenhouse. An expert named Matt was telling the reporter about a rare Alpine plant, and even let her hold it for a moment. However, Laura accidentally dropped it, causing the pot to break. Before the accident happened, Matt explained the rarity of the plant and expressed hopes of releasing it to the public for sale in 2 years. However, at the moment Matt handed the plant to Laura while talking, there was a collective gasp as it slipped from her hand. Matt stormed away in frustration. In the following video, news reporter Lauren Hewitt is doing a live report in the village of Norwich in England. She's holding an umbrella because the weather's rainy, and she stands by the roadside on a muddy side street. At one point, the car drives by, splashing water all over her. If once wasn't enough, this happens again a few seconds later. When you think of FBI agents, you might imagine spies and government operatives resembling heroes from Marvel stories. They're typically top of their class, capable of quick thinking and smart enough to catch the most cunning criminals. However, the next clip captured on live television of an FBI agent jumping over a fence is not very promising. For viewers at home, this must have been quite an amusement. The FBI agent jumped over a fence, awkwardly hung over it, and then jumped to the other side, all while his colleagues simply walked through the open gate. That means if he had taken a moment, he could have just pushed the gate open. In September of 2019, a Facebook event called Storm Area 51 was set up. The idea was that everyone stormed into the area to eventually see the aliens that would be hiding there. Although it had big hype, people didn't go beyond the warning signs. One of the memes that went around on the internet was that everyone would storm the area by doing the Naruto Run. This is a certain way of running that made the Japanese anime character Naruto popular. When the ABC News crew gave a live report near the Area 51, we suddenly see someone passing by doing the Naruto Run. This moment went viral on the internet and everyone was talking about it. For the 2013 New Year's celebration in Times Square, reporter Sarah Hines was celebrating when she heard the sound of webs shooting from the uniform of a certain superhero, Spider-Man. Spider-Man appeared out of nowhere and struck his iconic pose on live TV. But what happened next was quite comical. Sarah threw herself on the ground, hoping Spider-Man would catch her, only to fail. There's a good chance you've seen the next video before. It's one of the first viral videos that the internet's ever witnessed. During a live segment, we see Melissa Sanders stomping grapes barefoot in a bucket. The reporter tries to pick up the pace but ends up stumbling, falling face first on the ground. The sound she makes afterward is what made it go viral. A routine segment about Easter preparations on Argentine television took a hilarious turn. The incident occurred when the reporter visited a bakery. He showcased a colossal Easter egg weighing a whopping 26.5 pounds, or 12 kilograms, and it was priced at $200. The store attendant held the chocolate egg carefully in his hands, under the watchful eye of the store manager. However, just seconds later, the egg slipped from his hands, fell to the ground, and shattered into countless pieces. In the chaos that ensued, he hurried up to pick up the scattered chocolate fragments. The unexpected incident had the program's hosts bursting into laughter. In the next video, we see a Fox 5 News reporter asking people what's the best fireworks you can buy. On the 4th of July, it's Independence Day in America, a holiday that's celebrated through good food and fireworks. When the reporter asks the little boy which fireworks are the best, he gets this answer.
What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Where are your parents? Kid's sketchy. Back to you guys.
It looks like the weatherman didn't like the comment, but the internet loved the moment because the video went viral with millions of views on social media. This commercial on Japanese live TV started promisingly with an unbreakable IKEA chair. It was even claimed that the making and the perfecting of this chair took more than 30 years. They also asserted that the chair had been tested 6.3 million times. It had never been broken. This is what happens when the presenter tries the chair. As you've seen, the presentation went up in smoke, and you can't help but think that testing this chair wasn't done properly. Elon Musk is someone you should be familiar with. He's the founder of the space transport company SpaceX and the CEO of the electric car company Tesla. In November 2019, he had a live event where he unveiled his new creation, the Cybertruck. He invited the car's designer onto the stage and had him throw a steel ball against the side of the window of the car. Although it didn't penetrate the glass, it wasn't supposed to do damage. When he threw the ball again, the other window also cracked. During a speech on the easing of certain lockdown measures in South Africa, their president delivered a cautionary message. He emphasized the importance of staying at home and wearing masks in public. However, his attempts to demonstrate the correct way to put on a mask resulted in the creation of an internet meme. At the end of his speech, the president faced some challenges in showing the right way to put on a mask. This comical incident led to a flood of online hashtags that trended on Twitter. In the following video, we see American actor and stand-up comedian Jerry Seinfield giving an interview during a charity event. At one point, American pop singer Kesha approaches. You might know her from her #1 hit, TikTok. She tries to give Jerry a hug, but it doesn't go as planned.
Most of the time.
Kesha, I love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Can I give you a hug?
No, thanks.
Please?
No, thanks.
A little one.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Oh.
On Wednesday, June 22nd, star footballer Cristiano Ronaldo of Real Madrid was approached by a reporter while taking a walk. The journalist asked a simple question, inquiring about Ronaldo's readiness for the upcoming match. In his previous game for Portugal against Austria, he had missed a crucial penalty, resulting in a draw. He probably didn't find the reporter's question appropriate and grabbed the microphone, tossing it into a nearby lake. Diogo Torres, the reporter who fell victim to Ronaldo's impulsive action, later reflected on the incident, stating that Ronaldo was feeling the pressure from negative press. During a major storm in December of 2012, the streets of the American city of Atlantic City were flooded with water. Because the city is located near the Atlantic Ocean, there's a greater chance that the ocean water will flow inland. When a live report is given by the news network HLN, we see in the background 3 men dancing in their shorts. Although it's a very unpleasant moment that everything's underwater, these men try to stay positive by showing a bit of humor. Be cautious when interviewing a swim team by the pool, because if you fall, they can't help but burst into laughter. A BBC reporter covering the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast provided one of the funniest bloopers of the games. As he steps into the pool, microphone in hand, he intentionally advises to be careful while stepping in and watch where you walk. But he should have taken his own advice. Moments later, he steps into the deep end and nearly falls into the water up to his neck. Fortnite is a game that has been incredibly popular since 2018, and there's a good chance you played it or maybe still do. One of the aspects that made Fortnite popular were the dances, and everyone tried to imitate them, from young to old. In some cases, it's quite cringe. This was the case with these Fox News presenters. Take a look.
Oh, this one! Yeah. Oh, we're dropping my...
A Fox reporter had to draw a cannon in less than 20 seconds during a live program, and it didn't go as planned. The touchscreen drawing game is powered by AI, and as you draw, the robot learns from your actions. The original idea behind this segment might have been innocent, but what the reporter unintentionally draws is anything but. Everyone in the studio immediately sees what's happening and starts laughing. The male host manages to draw a pair of scissors, but the female host, embarrassed by her drawing, tries to erase it, but it's not possible. They solve the issue by moving on to the next challenge, drawing a truck and a giraffe. Everyone holds their breath each time she draws, just in case she accidentally draws something else. During a live interview with Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and CEO of Facebook, he's asked a question, which he then gives a very strange answer. He slips up and says that he was once a human being.
But it is gonna bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human, still.
Of course, this could just be a slip-up, but the strange thing about this event is that he's trying to make it clear that he's just a human being.
But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
The fact that he tries to make it clear is what's very strange in my opinion. There's also a lot of conspiracy theorists who believe that Mark is a lizard person, or even a robot. You know how when a news crew goes somewhere and some people like to appear on screen to say hi to their family and friends? This next clip is somewhat similar, only this woman didn't realize she was being filmed. Stefan, a foreign affairs commentator, unexpectedly became an internet phenomenon through a viral video filmed in Jerusalem in 2013. Stefan was about to report, surrounded by a large crowd, but he gets completely blocked by a woman standing right in front of the camera. The funny part is that she's shouting at someone off camera. In 2009, a Canadian reporter was sent to an unknown village in Canada where there was said to be a plague of Mexican red finches. He went there with a television crew and already had quite a bit of bird droppings on his shoulder. The man said he could have seen this coming and looks up to see if he can spot the bird. And then this happens.
One coming, huh?
15 years ago, an iconic moment unfolded when an Iraqi journalist made headlines by throwing his shoes at former President George W. Bush. This act of defiance symbolized al-Zaita's frustration and resentment over the corruption and chaos that followed the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. Looking back on his courageous act, his only regret was having only 2 shoes to throw. The incident took place during a press conference where President Bush stood next to then Iraqi Prime Minister. Quick reflexes allowed President Bush to dodge the flying shoes. The man ultimately received a 1-year prison sentence for the assault on a foreign head of state during an official visit. In the following video, we see a female presenter interviewing one of the participants in a Polish motocross race. When she asks him what the race was like, and he responds that it went well, but that he has to go. As you can see, he drove off, and a lot of mud came over her. I don't know if this video's real, but it's still pretty funny. During an appearance on The Tonight Show, Maisie Williams, famous for her role as Arya Stark in the Game of Thrones, accidentally leaked a major spoiler. This caused quite a stir because she revealed Arya's fate in Season 8, that she dies in the second episode. The revelation left the audience stunned and in silence, with only a few awkward chuckles breaking the tension. Maisie implored Jimmy Fallon to delete the footage, fearing that the audience would take to social media to share the spoiler. Jimmy even asked the audience to applaud again and wanted to continue talking about the series. Maisie was clearly upset and couldn't go on. Overwhelmed, she covered her face with her hands and hastily left the stage. Jimmy, feeling the urgency, went backstage to look for her. Suddenly, Maisie reappeared, and both she and Jimmy shouted that it was an April Fool's prank. The Georgia Dome was a football stadium in the American city of Atlanta that was decided to be demolished in November of 2017. The entire building was supposed to come down in 12 seconds, and many people were present to capture the spectacle on camera. The local broadcaster was also there and had set up a camera to livestream it. However, just as the building is being demolished, a huge bus comes in the way, ruining the big moment.
Get out of the way, bus! Are you...
This video further proves that anything can happen on live TV. A reporter from San Diego was commentating on a government agent standing next to a stranded man in the desert. According to the story, the man couldn't find his way back in the desert and had gotten lost. As the camera zooms in, you can see something written in the sand. The news anchor tries to read it aloud, but only reads the words send and please, and she can't decipher the middle word. It's also unclear what these 2 men were doing in the desert. Can you read the middle word and understand why this video is considered a blooper? Let me know in the comments. In this video, we see a live news interview from Greece. Unfortunately, I can't understand what they're saying, but that's not what this instance is about either, because if you look closely, a man on the left comes walking up and has a few things to say. Just listen.
Ο Θανάσης δεν ξυπνά ούτε πρόκειται να ξυπνήσει. Οι Έλληνες κοιμούνται με τα παπούσια στο κρεβάτι.
It's unclear why the older man was making animal sounds, but it's pretty funny. And then the interview just goes on as if nothing had happened. If you're a reporter and you call for help because your microphone or headphones aren't working, and if you work for this particular network, it's probably best to be cautious. Reporter Madison Brooks was checking her equipment before going live, repeatedly calling out sound check because she was clearly experiencing issues. A personal assistant eventually steps forward to help. He removes the headphones from her ear, and instead of fiddling with them, he licks her ear, much to Madison's and the audience's astonishment. Then he puts the headphones back on, tells her to trust him, and says it'll work now. Some people in the comments, however, think this is a skit. What do you think? In May 2017, Donald Trump and his wife Melania arrive at the airport in Israel, and we see him trying to hold her hand. However, apparently something happened between them on the same day that leads Melania to refuse. These moments also sparked many discussions on the internet about why this had happened. In another instance, we see Trump boarding the plane, but as he does so, a piece of toilet paper can be seen stuck to his left shoe. Pretty embarrassing moment, if you ask me. During a Good Morning Texas television program, a karate expert was being interviewed. As part of his performance, he tries to teach one of the reporters how to break a wooden board with a traditional karate chop. It's probably every child's and adult's dream. Imagine being able to break a board with your bare hands. So it's somewhat understandable how excited the reporter is, but the way she attempts to break the board doesn't quite go as planned. She throws her entire body weight into the chop, causing her to fall to the ground. To her credit, she quickly recovers and asks with a laugh if this happens to everyone, to which the expert explains that it's not usually the case. In May of 2017, something very strange happened during a weather forecast on live TV in Vancouver, Canada. Out of nowhere, Darth Vader and some stormtroopers appear, who you probably know from the Star Wars movies. Darth Vader tells the weatherman that he gave some false weather forecasts and he'll be taken by the stormtroopers. Then Darth Vader decides to tell the weather forecast himself.
You have been giving false weather reports.
Really? False?
Yes.
Oh,
Take him away.
Ever wonder what happens behind the scenes after athletes achieve one of the biggest victories in their careers? During the 202 class of the 2011 British Grand Prix, a man named Flex Lewis emerged victorious. He was interviewed by reporter Stacey Thompson, and it's clear from the moment that she sees him that she's become infatuated with him. All her questions are geared toward flirting. What's remarkable about this interview is that Stacey bites her lip after hearing the man's incredible emotional story. Interestingly, the woman next to her is Flex's wife. Marshall Pope is a rapper and poet who had the opportunity to promote his new book on a talk show called Talk of Alabama. After the interview, he is asked if he wants to perform a rap. This doesn't go quite well. Take a look.
Years ago, they tried to put me in the. This is a lie.
The female talk show host remains professional and asks if he would like to read a passage from his book instead. When we look at NBA champions, especially legends like Shaquille O'Neal on the basketball court, we notice that most players are above average in height. Different generations vividly remember O'Neal's infamous slam dunks and iconic moments on the court, but people are always amazed when they see him in real life. Shaq's not your average NBA player. He stands at 7 feet 1 inch tall and weighs about 330 pounds. A standard water bottle, as seen in this video, looks like a toy in his hands. It's like he's using a miniature version of the water bottle. On New Year's Eve in 2019, Pope Francis walked past a crowd of people in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. He was greeting the crowd when suddenly a woman pulled his hand and said something to him. Here, I'll show you the video. I don't know what the woman said to him, but the Pope later apologized because he slapped the woman's hand. Do you think the Pope reacted well or not? Let me know in the comments. Christy Gordon, a meteorologist at Global BC, has a deep-rooted fear of spiders and experienced an unexpected encounter with a spider during a live broadcast. What's remarkable about this story, however, is that the spider was not physically in the same room as her. Instead, the spider had made its way to the tower camera, located in downtown Vancouver, and its image was projected onto the screen behind her. The scare happened when the spider's leg began to creep across the camera lens. This startled Christy, causing her to jump as the spider crawled across the screen. Despite reassurance from a fellow news anchor who shouted, "Christy, it's not in the room, it's okay," she remained in a panic. In May 2016, a man named Thomas gives an interview in which he explained that he wanted to be a goat for 3 days. He claimed to have been prepared for months and conducted extensive research on goats. He even created artificial prostheses to become a real goat. Thomas wanted to take a break from the real world and experience life as a goat without stress. When the goats saw him, they were probably thinking, what a strange-looking goat that is. Ryan Seacrest is an American television presenter, known for his work on American Idol and other TV programs. On January 13, 2009, an episode of American Idol aired on Fox, in which a blind man named Scott advanced to the next round after delivering a fantastic performance of a song. Once Scott goes backstage, his family and Ryan are waiting for him. However, Ryan attempts to join in the celebration and offers a blind Scott a high five. Fortunately, he rectifies it and doesn't ignore his blunder. Something very strange happened in the next video. A reporter from USA Today had accidentally locked himself out of his car. It had snowed a lot that day, and the man had forgotten to take the keys out of the car when he was removing the snow from the windows. So the reporter had to report through the window of his car while it was outside in the cold. Fortunately, the authorities were called, and he was helped so that he could get back in the car. Still, it's a bit of an embarrassing moment that took place on TV. Rebecca Liu is a flirt expert who appeared on the Saturday Night Live show to discuss the single life. Without asking any questions, she suddenly starts flirting with Seth Meyers, the show's host. She explains that flirting involves body language and verbal signals. According to her, raising your arms in the air is a flirting technique, and she claims to be shy. If you're shy, she advises people to do things that make them feel comfortable, like playing with their hair and touching the other person's face. The funniest moment is when she throws her legs up in the air, clearly making Seth uncomfortable. During a live report, we see an Arab woman speaking, and suddenly a man rides into the frame on his bike. He tries to ride up the sidewalk, but falls flat on his face. The interviewer and the cameraman couldn't help but laugh. Fortunately, it seems like the man was okay. I have no idea why he was attempting to go up the sidewalk, but whatever the reason, it's quite embarrassing that this was captured on live TV. MSNBC reporter Matt Bradley was caught doing something anyone might do any given day: wanting to look good. Unfortunately, this happened on live television. Even more unfortunate was that he did it by spitting in his hands and using the saliva to slick back his hair. What's amusing is that you can see the network and his colleagues didn't know how to react. They also weren't sure if they should bring Matt back and whether he realized he was already on live TV or if he had panicked. This is indeed a peculiar way to style your hair, don't you think? During a morning program of the KMTV3 News, a biologist comes to the show and takes a number of wild animals with him. He also brought a skunk, and as you may know, they are known to have a defense mechanism. They can spray a stinking liquid when they feel that they have to defend themselves. So maybe you can already guess what happened during this program.
They'll shoot out a spray and it can shoot about 10.
Fortunately, it was only a prank, because the biologist had a small bottle in which she had put water. A very funny moment because the presenters didn't know anything about it. Kelly Osborne is a TV personality and the daughter of rock legend Ozzy Osbourne. During a live interview, she made a comment that was highly inappropriate. The 5 women at the table were discussing the immigration issue in America on the TV program. And at one point, Kelly made a remark she immediately regretted.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, you know what I mean?
Fox 9 meteorologist Jennifer had some fun when her weather graphics began glitching in the middle of her forecast. As she walked around to present the weather, a glitch suddenly occurred. The glitch resulted in multiple versions of the woman, creating a multiplication effect. Then the graphics started spinning, adding an extra layer of visual chaos. Laughter filled the studio as Jennifer couldn't stop giggling due to this unexpected glitch, and the same went for the team behind the camera. In this video, a news reporter from Michigan ABC News was trying to pinpoint the exact location of construction work. She demonstrates it by drawing on the screen. However, the route she tries to describe accidentally resembles, something else. It looks quite authentic, and I don't think she realized it at the moment. It was probably an innocent mistake, but in retrospect, it's quite embarrassing that something like this could happen. In a magic show with an illusionist, you'll never know what to expect, and whether what you're seeing is part of the trick or not. This time, illusionist Jeff Hobson wasn't acting, when the stool he was sitting on during a performance for the Today Show broke. At least, that's what he led the audience to believe. The stool had more than just a malfunction. It sank a few inches, and he wobbled to stand up. The audience collectively made a surprised face. Can you imagine how much that hurt, all while you're on live TV? Do you think the metal rod in the middle of the stool was fake, or do you think the stool actually broke? Let me know in the comments. This next moment happened during the Miss Universe of 2015. This is an international Miss pageant in which all countries participate, and Steve Harvey, an American actor and comedian, had to present the finals. When the time came to announce the winner, this happened.
Colombia! I have to apologize. Miss Universe 2015 is Philippines.
As you saw, Steve announced that Colombia had won, but he had made a mistake, because the Filipino model was actually the winner. This was an embarrassing moment for Miss Colombia, and of course, for Steve, who made the mistake on live TV for more than 6 million people. In an unexpected twist of events, a news reporter from Texas found himself at the center of the story, earning him a new nickname, Mud. Jeff Smith, a reporter for KXAS in Dallas-Fort Worth, was covering a story about low water levels at a local lake. However, his routine segment took an unexpected turn when he decided to jump feet first into what appeared to be ordinary mud. What we didn't know was that the mud was much thicker and stickier than he had expected, causing him to get stuck. Surprised by the unforeseen situation, Jeff's videographer couldn't help but burst into laughter, resulting in overall merriment in the newsroom. Eventually, with some assistance, Jeff was freed from his muddy predicament. In February 2015, a local reporter from Greenville's WYFF News 4 was doing a weather report. It had snowed heavily that night, and everyone was making snowmen. However, in the neighborhood, there was also a hill where people could slide down with a sled. The reporter wanted to try this to conclude her live report, but things didn't go as expected.
From the Snowman.
Our parents always told us never to lean too far back in our chairs, but why? Well, this is what can happen. During an episode of Live with Kelly and Ryan, when Ryan attempted to catch a gold balloon, he ended up on the floor unplanned. As he leaned backward with his arms, his chair started to tip over, causing him to lose his balance. The sudden event prompted Kelly to exclaim, "Oh my God," as she startled audience watched. Kelly immediately got up to help Ryan, who could be heard laughing from the ground. Later, he shared a video of his fall to Instagram, playfully calling it the first blooper of the new season. In the following video, Professor Robert Kelly is being interviewed live by BBC News about South Korea. At one point, one of his children walks into the room, but it doesn't end there, as shortly after, another child enters the room. The funniest part of this video is when the mother rushes into the room to usher the children back into the living room. This must have been quite an embarrassing moment for Robert Kelly. The video has been viewed over 40 million times, and for good reason. Roland Hernandez, an artist being interviewed about creating an ice sculpture, stormed off on live TV after the following happened. He was being interviewed because he was working on a masterpiece of ice that day. Editors later said they felt like something might go terribly wrong. David, the reporter, began admiring the sculpture and grabbed it from the top and tilted it backward. As you might guess, the sculpture immediately fell apart into a million pieces. While David immediately apologized, he didn't seem to fully realize what he had just done. Roland immediately erupted, saying he had had enough and walked away in anger. Can you imagine being in the shoes of either person, seeing your masterpiece destroyed in a second, or being the one who destroys it? During a live TV program, a lot of famous people from Portugal were invited to participate in a game show. At one point, the model and Brazilian TV presenter named Helen was challenged to take off her skirt. She finally does this behind her desk, after which the whole audience screams. With some papers in front of her, she finally dares to stand up. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out what this was all about. In this video from Fox 5 San Diego News, we see a reporter with a man promoting his new water jetpack. They probably agreed beforehand that he would take off in the water, which would have resulted in cool footage. However, things didn't go as planned. The man with the jetpack falls into the water. Take a look for yourself.
Good morning, everybody. I'm hanging out with my friend John. Fox 5 Morning News starts. Look over there.
And it starts right now.
During a live news broadcast, viewers were asked to pay attention to a man who had just robbed a store. They made a sketch of the man of what he might look like.
Okay, this is the guy.
The sketch looks incredibly funny, and it's very clever how the news presenter doesn't laugh. The funny thing about this event is that later on, it becomes clear that the man had been arrested thanks to the sketch. Here we see Brooks Koepka, a professional golfer from the United States who was the PGA Player of the Year in 2018 and 2019. When Koepka was preparing for his entrance, which was broadcasted on live television, he walks with his wife to his destination. During this, his wife tries to give him a kiss. As you saw, the man ignored her, and the woman doesn't seem pleased with the rejection. I don't know why he did this, but this was probably the most important day of his life, so he was likely very focused. While doing a live broadcast, reporter Mike from 7 News encountered the harsh reality of an occupational hazard. A hazard related to the dangers of filming at a skateboard park. Mike is in the middle of his sentence when, in the background, a skateboarder loses control of his skateboard, which flies straight to the back of Mike's head. That looks painful, you might be thinking. Fortunately, Mike managed to escape without any injury. However, he admitted that the collision with the ramp left him with a noticeable bump on his forehead. A news broadcast in Vietnam does not go well after the man wants to answer a question and his phone suddenly rings. Instead of turning the phone off, he does this. Take a look.
Wow.
Instead of just turning off his phone, he throws it away as soon as possible. How the female presenter manages to keep her smile is very clever in my opinion. And I wonder if his phone was broken. Jennifer Garner is an American actress who gave a live interview on Conan O'Brien's late night show in 2003. The host uses the English word snuck, and according to Jennifer, that wouldn't be the correct word to use in a sentence.
You snuck into the room to see what the...
I sneaked into the room. Snuck isn't a word, Conan, and you went to Harvard and you should know that.
After the commercial break, Conan grabs a dictionary and comes back to clarify that the word snuck is indeed correct. The expression on Jennifer's face probably says it all. It was quite an embarrassing moment when she tried to correct someone while being wrong herself. As the temperature rose on a special Thursday in England, TV presenter Josie Gibson decided to showcase her paddleboarding skills. Live on TV, she received an unplanned lesson from a local instructor. With great confidence, she demonstrated to the host that she was no stranger to this activity. Josie managed to push herself off the jetty and stand atop her paddleboard. However, her moment of glory was short-lived, because after raising her hands in the air, she wobbled several times, losing her balance and falling into the water. Holly's voice echoed from the studio, exclaiming, "Watch out for the child," before bursting into laughter. Despite her unexpected fall, Josie resurfaced with a thumbs up, declaring that she was proud of herself. During a boat show in Newport Beach, California, the reporter is giving a live interview with the boat owner. The boat owner wants to show him something, and the reporter doesn't notice that someone behind him is cleaning something. He steps backward, causing the man to fall into the water. I don't know if this was staged, but it looks quite real. Kanye West is a world-famous rapper, entrepreneur, and fashion designer with a successful clothing line, Yeezy. In 2009 were the MTV Music Awards, and when Taylor Swift had won an award for Best Music Video, Kanye entered the stage.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
According to Kanye, Beyonce should have been the one to win this award with her song Single Ladies. After Beyonce won another award, she let Taylor Swift have her moment. When the right or wrong person has control over a green screen behind you, the world is their oyster. With a green screen, you can add visual effects or change the background of a scene by digitally removing the green color. A live TV weather report went awry when someone decided to play a prank on the presenter. Instead of displaying the temperature, the green screen switched to a man in swim trunks on the beach, who was, to put it politely, dancing. What's your favorite TV moment? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.